YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building for another Last Cloudia unit showcase. You can see on my screen we're taking a look at the bootleg LENIUS. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your boy Buddha, as many of you already saw, was not lucky enough to land himself a LENIUS on release. However, we do have the Prodigy or the Vessel, whatever you want to call Sage Emperor Zekus. He's got a fraction of the new release's power, and I did receive a comment, shout out to whoever did that, I'll probably try and throw it on the screen, asking, hey, why don't you do a showcase for Sage Zekus for all of us who do not have LENIUS? So I figured, why not? Easy enough to make since I already have him at 5-star. Meant to make a showcase for him a long time ago, but never did. Because I already have his ward unlocked, let's go ahead and just look at what it is. Ice damage cap plus 100 for all units, so quite a nice damage cap when we finally get another ice unit to use that new ice you are on. We're still waiting. Adel, for some reason they do not like ice, the ice element, or hopefully they'll go on like an ice spree, just like they did light DPS for whatever reason. But without further ado, let's talk about the unit summary of Zekus. We've got him 110 out of 110, 120 board, 4th awakened, and 92 SC to play with here. He is a sorcerer type, obviously, and the stats spread pretty low everywhere. I mean, a nice 400 stat MP, which is what we like to see, and then of course INT and over 1,000 MND, so that'll help on his Proud Force heals, which we know we can take advantage of, as we'll see in his kit. Looking at the resistances for attributes, he's got 10 to all of the earthly elements, and then weakness to both light and further weakness to dark. The ailment resistances: resistant +1 to poison, neutral to blind, resistant +1 to silence, weak to curse, resistant to stun, and nil to illness. So luckily he's got some resistances where we want them for a mage, right? We want him to keep casting, so keep him from getting silenced and keep him from getting stunned, but we would have to cover him in the illness department if that was an issue. Moving over to the abilities, we actually can recognize a couple of these based off LENIUS's kit. Lightning Strike, a long-range thunder attack centered on the target in a medium area. Low chance to inflict stun. I don't know the percentage chance. You can always check Lake's spreadsheets. He doesn't have the characters or units on the Goldmine website yet, but he does have spreadsheets that have all of the unit details that he keeps up to date. So make sure to use those links to find those resources. His skill 2 is Cold Heart, wide area ice combo attack around the unit. Low chance to insta-kill, excludes bosses in arena. Bomb Blitz is another one that's recognizable on LENIUS. Frontal wide area fire combo attack. Funny enough, I'm just going to tell you right now, Sage Zekus has one of the fastest clearing times for the Pablo stage. He's number 2 in Tweaks' testing of fastest DPS clears for that stage because of that S3. It's actually pretty funny. And then his special, Cocytus. I don't know why I can't pronounce these names. You guys have told me how to say this one before, but screw it. Powerful ice combo attack against all enemies. Not too significant, but we'll move on to the traits. First one, Imperial Knowledge. Fire, ice, earth, and thunder attack damage plus 50% and damage cap plus 7,000. When attacking with the above 4 attributes, if enemy has resistance to attribute resistance minus 50% and deal damage. What does this mean? That's not an actual 50% multiplier. That is, if an enemy has 100 resistance to one of those elements, it then becomes 50. And if they have 70, it then becomes 20. It's an actual subtraction of 50. So this is why Shiv Zekus, I would say, is spoken so fondly of for a lot of veterans, because the more you play Last Cloudia, if you're just starting, will learn to understand the importance of attribute resistance cutting. That's why Trishula is still regarded as one of, if not still, the best weapon in the entire game. And Shiv Zekus has a built-in half Trishula in him, so it's a wonderful first trait, and it only got better with his 5-star because it used to be only magic attacks, but now it's just all damage within those elements he cuts the resistance for, so love it. Trait 2, Protean Shift. Regularly check all allies for near death. If any are found, apply defense and MND plus 20% and regenerate effect to all allies. If none are found, apply an STR and INT plus 20% effect to all allies. So very cool support. Stat boost that's relevant to where your team allies are in their health pool. So that just happens without you needing to do anything, which I love. The less time I have to spend working, the more time I get to enjoy. So this is the kit that we were able to speculate what LENIUS would come with beforehand, and look at that. It turns out everyone was right. Moving into the innate skills, what he comes with naturally, he has a charisma, all allies, fire, ice, earth, and thunder attack damage cap plus 1500. Keep in mind, this is all damage for those respective elements, so very useful when you want to use it. Crimson Flare, Blizzard, Absolute Zero, Grand Cross, Zekus, and Valza Riser are the non-stackable spells he comes with. He doesn't come with any stackable spells built within his kit, so if you do want to do some play around with his non-stack coupled with a stackable magic, you'll have to add those on top. And sadly, Zekus doesn't have any of those standout non-stackable attacks. Absolute Zero, I would say, is his best option. But like Zekus, they tried to get a little funky and unique with him here. But sadly, this is just a god-awful skill. And they put such heavy requirements on it. You can only use it once. And it only becomes usable when near death. I don't understand. Even at the time that this was released, it did nothing, right? Zekus was released when Magic was still a bit taboo, and I don't know, there just a lot of missed opportunities. We didn't see mages come back to the light much later after Zekus' release. Grand Brave Phaser. He can give plus 35% STR to all allies. Critical Phaser. He can give 15% crit to all allies. And Soul Liberate. This is an actually impressive and useful spell. Reduce HP to 1 and recover 50% MP once per quest and excludes arena. This can absolutely pair well with another skill we'll see later, and is one of the best mage recovery MP spells, or yeah, skills that we have that we've ever seen, I would say. His passives, he has Arcane up 2 and 4, given INT and MP. Crit up 2 and 3, given the nice crit skills that usually cost a lot of SC. Proud Force, he comes innate. Royal Armor to give him some reduced damage. Auto Protection, also reducing damage. Physical damage, I should say. Auto Advanced Circles, there's your standard mage. Recovery for MP over time every 6 seconds. Auto Recast, giving him that plus 30%. Awaken he has, so some nice self-sustain. Ice Attack raise 2, given that 30% to all ice damage. Elemental Force, this is a skill that I forgot to talk about with LENIUS, because some people brought up that they were concerned that he didn't have any criticals built in to him. Well, he does, right? Because magic attacks need extra critical skills in order to activate crits on your magic attacks. So Elemental Force does that for all of these respective elements. And chance to recover a little MP when magically attacked by enemies with those attributes. So I actually forgot about that effect as well. Maglion, he has damage dealt is proportional to the distance of long-range attacks. We do know that this only applies to physical damage. This is a typo on Adel. Data mined and tested, posted on Lake's Goldmine website. If you want to find the true effects of these skills, always make sure to check Lake's Goldmine first. A movable object and high-level magic chant, great for him to come innate as a mage. Thaumaturgy Ring Plus, greatly boost physical attack damage based on INT. Mana Rog, STT, recovery speed minus 10%, but skill damage plus 30%, which is a great modifier for his physical attacks, or his skill attacks, I should say. And then Convergence, when taking lethal damage from an enemy, spend 2% of the damage as MP and survive with 1 HP. This is the skill I was referring to that works well with, obviously, that spell, recovering himself MP, and it's one that we are very fond of and know well with Majo's release, since he has the same thing. So looking at what Zekus comes with, the whole package, besides from the actual spells that he's built with, it's a quite nice starter kit for any mage. Great MP sustain. He's got critical and HP sustain with Proud Force and things like Awaken. He's got all the cast speed that he wants. Well, not all of it. He comes out to 50% extra cast speed. So you'll want to add another 20% some way, shape, or form in order for him to get an effective insta-cast, the quick kind of casting we're used to being built in our current mages. And then he has things like Convergence to keep himself alive with his MP, along with some modifiers, some physical damage modifiers, if you want to start leaning into that side of his kit, which he can be a comparable physical type damage dealer compared to his magic damage dealing as well. So what we're going to do with him is flesh his kit out as intended. I don't think I'm going to branch out. Maybe I'll try and look for a couple stackable spells to put on top of him. But I'm going to build him as intended. We're going to run him. Then I think we're going to do a physical type damage build just so you can see that. And then obviously send him in arena to see how he performs. And let Zekus be our little representation for a rainbow mage this week, since obviously your boy Buddha can't do a LENIUS showcase. Without further ado, I'm going to get to building him, and I'll see you in battle. So just as I said we would rep a rainbow mage setup with Zekus, I'm actually going back on my word. You can see this is going to be an ice-focused Magic DPS Zekus. I did try and build a rainbow mage setup that could take advantage of all the elements, and I just was not happy with it at all. You know, I want to be seeing my damage caps in order to fully milk out what's possible with Zekus here. While it may be nothing close to what we experience nowadays in Last Cloudia, you can see that with the appropriate geyser, we're able to deal the damage that I personally want to see. Which just leads me to my point that I think I will always recommend to build your rainbow mages, regardless if they come with rainbow spells. Build them focused on one element at a time. What's beautiful about Zekus being a rainbow mage is that if you want to take advantage of other elements, it's very possible, since he has that penetration in his trait, and you can just swap out the appropriate elemental boosts, an appropriate elemental staff, and other skills that are going to be relevant to making whatever element you're focusing on the hard hitter for Zekus here, as long as it's within those four elements, right? Fire, thunder, ice, and earth. I went with ice because, as we can see, absolute zero, as I recommended, is still what I think is his best innate skill. I would have put H2S, hydrogen sulfide, from the Dr. Stone collab on him if I had it. I think that would be a much better combo, right? Casting absolute zero and then being able to cast H2S on top of it. However, your boy Buddha did not summon much and get lucky during Dr. Stone. So we're just stuck with Zekus casting his non-stackable and then running around until he can cast the next one. We did just come out of being fainted right here, and I mean, if you compare this directly to the Shift Eliza showcase that we saw, there's a huge difference. We were able to clear this final stage, I think, a lot faster, and it just didn't feel as tough to make Zekus, or it didn't feel as tough to make Shift Eliza hit her damage cap as Zekus here. However, the fact that he can drop damage cap on these enemies, very tanky, very health spongy, is a testament to his innate capability of lowering their resistance. I showed in the beginning of this battle that I think all of these enemies have at least 50 resistance to ice, and he basically makes it neutral so that that's not even a concern. So with this final absolute zero, I don't know if it's this one or the next. I guess we'll see that finishes the job. Yeah, just one more to go, Zekus. You got this, man. You got this. What made that fight tricky, too, is that these enemies weren't flinchable, so he definitely had to stand through it all with his innate traits, which Convergence definitely does help keep him safe. Moving on to the next battle, however. This is a PDPS showcase. I called it Slayer PDPS because you will want to swap out Slayers accordingly. But I figured, why not take him into one of the Arc 2 boss fights, now that we're kind of mixing up which fights we take these units into, and show off what Zekus can look like physical DPS with proper SET sustain. Of course, I'm not using free-to-play friendly strategies here because I just wanted to you know, see what I could bring out of Zekus. And his PDPS is fun for a couple different reasons. Not because it's the craziest thing in the world, but his attacks happen so quickly. Specifically his S1 and his S3, right? The S2, you got to be in close range. However, this does pop off pretty quickly. It's a nice little area around himself. But they pop off so fast that the amount of damage that you can get off just happens so quickly. And the S3 being an entire battle map AoE is very, very useful. This dragon, I think, has, I don't remember how much resistance. I think it started with 90 fire resistance. And the only one it's weak to is Zekus' S2 being ice. So the S1 and the S3 with no Trishula, as you can see, are just penetrating through and allowing him to get close to damage cap on the S3 and hit damage cap on the S1, which again is just a testament to the utility built within Zekus. I have Ice Cane on him here to be an ice element for his normal attacks, which you can see are very effective in keeping his MP Goddess Kiss sustain alive, which in result makes him invincible. As long as he has MP, you can't kill him, right? So with the final blow, happy that Zekus could solo that little 6 million plus HP boss. And because I enjoyed the PDPS build so much on Zekus, I think I prefer it way more than trying to make him a magic caster, I decided to bring him into Arena. As a physical type DPS, I thought with that S3 being AoE, with Shift Eliza's Anima, we would be able to take over the space with Roy, and we just get absolutely obliterated. I thought we'd be able to beat it, and we did not. I think we did peanuts worth of damage here. Of course, we're fighting Gilga. I know Gilga's a usual top ranker in time trials. He's always been a contender in Arena. So I don't know what I was expecting. This was not the right play to try and take Zekus into meet Roy face to face, but I decided to leave it in just to show you what Zekus looks like in the top Arena meta, I would say. However, in this battle versus Asmodeus, we start to go lower in the ranks of the top 100 Arena, and he's able to do some work, but against like this semi-tanky comp of Roland, Shift, Gorm, we got Rimuru right there, it just doesn't do what it needs to do, especially with the setup that we have on Zekus, right? I just don't think Zekus has the proper physical damage modifiers built in his skills to compete with the likes of Demon Lord Rimuru, obviously Roy, although those two characters are really something special. But we're able to get things done here, right? Like, Zekus is getting kills, especially when at long range he's able to do significantly more damage. We saw him take down Tyria pretty quickly with a couple S1s, but I mean, if we're comparing him to the big boys, it's painful, right? These are painful Arena matches to go through compared to what we have and are able to do. That S3, I don't know if anyone else can confirm or deny or support me on this, but it feels like it has less damage packed into it than the other two skills. I feel like the S2 deals significant amount of damage. The S1 even can hit fairly hard at some points, but the S3 seems to always be very lackluster, which is a real shame because it being like Roy, it's the only thing that I think competes with Roy's AoE on the battle map. So it does make me sad that it feels like it just cannot hit as hard. Of course, Roy also has incredible fire damage mods built into his kit, which Zekus does not have, right? While it's cool that he has the Trishula effect for these 4 elements, the drawback is that he doesn't have any element percentage boosts, damage, physical, magic mods in his innate kit. So, I mean, that kind of goes back to why I think you should build him for one specific element when you're taking him as a magic DPS at a time. And then this final match, we were able to get the W, right? Shift Eliza for the win. But in this final match, we fight an unorthodox arena team, if you will, where I think he is able to perform a little better, right? We're not dealing with a super defensive tanky comp. I make sure to get some distance because obviously we're playing the long-range PDPS game. I forget why I just kind of sat there. I think I was waiting for Shift Eliza to throw her anima up. And you can just see the S3 not doing what it needs to do. I think it took out one of the units, but that should have easily wiped out Melee, and it just did not. Maybe there's a reason I'm not thinking about or seeing. I don't have Melee. I don't know her innate traits that well off the top of my head, but she shouldn't be tanking that. She shouldn't be tanking that. However, we can zap Balin with a nice little S1. Murrin, just sadly, he is not enough. He is not enough to be a tank on his own if you don't have other supporting members. So we're able to do the job with our boy Zekus there, and he got some spotlight. There you go. There is our boy Shift Zekus in action in today's last Cloudia. And while it wasn't anything super surprising, nothing super standout, I am glad I did it. Because a lot of what I know in Last Cloudia is what I hear from the community, what I bring back from conversations with you guys and with Tweaks and other members. So being able to use these units in action really reinforces some of the points and allows you to see exactly what we're talking about when we are asked about these older units, right? Shift Zek is coming out before the 2-year anniversary last year. So while he has aged, I hope that we can get some introductions to teachables or arcs or whatever needs to happen in order to enhance these units from the past, because they're dope, right? The design is cool. He has such incredible utility built within him. It's a shame that he just gets put way on the back burner as power creep happens. However, power creep is the nature of the beast, right? These perpetual gotchas that just continue update to update to update. You have to have some kind of climb or else people are going to lose interest altogether. So while he is not outshining anything that I think the community currently considers very, very good, he can still be useful for those lacking, since he's available on every DOH banner that you pull on from here on out. So if you're severely hurting for a rainbow mage, if you don't have any crystals, right, you're super free to play, the hope of getting LENIUS is a bit out of reach for you, and you have a bunch of spare materials, feel free. Go ahead, have fun with Zekus. I will say the physical DPS setup on him, while you do need to help him out a ton, is very fun, and I do enjoy it. Hope I did our boy here justice, and as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you still use Zekus? Is there a setup that you have that works very well that maybe I didn't cover it all in this video? Let me know down below. Like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and switch it to all notifications so you know when your boy posts and when myself and Lady Buddha returns from our little vacay. I'll be looking forward to making videos again for you guys. With all that being said, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play hard. See you in the next video.